Good afternoon, viewers, and thank you for tuning in to Daybreak News with the Guyanese Critic. I'm here with Agriculture Minister, Mr. Zulfikar Mustafa, and we're here as your interest would be in what is going on in the agriculture sector, how has it been going so far, and maybe have some of your concerns and issues addressed, and what is the future for the agriculture sector in Guyana and where are we going? Thank you for having me, Minister. Firstly, so far the effects of what this ministry has done because of where this ministry was and actions of the past minister, your proactive approach has been positive in terms of how the people feel. I would like to express that to you. People are still waiting to get the benefits of the reopening of the estates, NDIA restructuring, and the drainage, irrigation, and these kind of things. Can you tell me where we are, what you have been doing for the last going on to 4 months, and what we can expect?
So first of all, let me thank you very much, because I think these are very important information that you are sharing with the member of public out there, because sometimes when we go out, we can't capture everyone. So I know for a fact that you cover a wide cross section of people, and they normally listen to your program a lot. So what we have done over the last 3 months, we have seen a renewed interest in this sector, the agriculture sector. Because earlier this year, and before I took over the sector, every time people talk about investment and revenue generation in the country, they're referring to the oil and gas sector in the country. But as we know that, yes, we are now an oil producing country, but the most important sector in our country is the agriculture sector, because the agriculture is here to stay. And we have to invest in this sector to develop it and generate jobs, and also have food security. Now, over the last 3 months, I have had a number of outreaches across the country, and as a result of that, I think that is one of the reasons. That is not all the reason, but one of the reasons that we have seen a renewed interest in this sector, the agriculture sector. What we have done, we went out, we meet with people, listen to their problems, and we try to resolve it on the spot. And that is the kind of proactiveness we have started out with. And we are going in different parts of the country. We are not going in one section of the population, but different parts. I visited Crabwood Creek and a number of areas in the county, Region 6. I visited Belladrum and Trafalgar, a number of areas in Region 5. I visited Belladrum, Mocha, Arcata. I will go into Agricola shortly. So I am visiting across the country. I went in the Esquivo Islands, I went to Region 3, I went to Region 2, I'll be going into Region 9 shortly. So generally, we are seeing more and more people now are getting themselves involved in agriculture. And the policies that we have implemented over the last few months, what we have done, we said we will reduce DNI charges and reverse land rental to its original position, because in 2017, the former government would have increased land rental by 600%. Land rental moved from $1,000 to sometimes $15,000. DNI charges moved from $2,500 to $8,000. What we have done, the emergency budget, we have reduced that to the 2014 rate. Land rental is $1,000 back per acre. Now the farmers will save for each acre now $14,000. DNI charges have moved from $8,000 to $2,500. They are now saving $5,500 for every. So those are monies in the farmer's pocket. We have took out the VAT on agriculture machinery and agriculture inputs. So things like fertilizer, pesticides, chemical, agriculture equipment like spray cans and hose and things like that, we have took out the VAT on it. So now the people just paying the price of the commodity, the items. We took out the VAT on agriculture machinery. So anybody going to buy a tractor or a combine, they would not have to pay 14% VAT on the price of those equipments. So much so that I want to refer to this example. I received a letter from a farmer who said that he imported a tractor with anticipation that the PPP will win the election. The tractor came in April, but you know the election was held in March. The PPP indeed won the election, but the government didn't come out of office. So he's asking me now, seeing that we had the changes because of the election on the 2nd of March, that is responsible for the changes that took place in the country. He is asking
if he could get a VAT report.
And $500,000 he had to pay. Imagine that. So all these policies that we have implemented from the government perspective is farmers friendly, and we are working together with the farmers. What also we have done in the rice sector, we have looked at new varieties of rice. Recently I have launched a new variety at the rice research station that is capable of moving our yield per acre from 35 to 40 bags per acre. Now this new variety can give us between 50 to 60 bags per acre. That will help boost our production and productivity tremendously. I am working with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to recoup the money that the Panamanian Authority owe our farmers in Guyana. $1.9 billion. Those money were owed during the last administration time. They did not do anything to recoup the money. I have since spoken to the Minister of Agriculture in Panama. He has agreed to pay the money. He acknowledged the debt, and he said that they are waiting at the end of the close of this pandemic so that they can be able to pay the money. I am working together with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. As a matter of fact, only last Friday we dispatched another diplomatic note to the Panamanian Authority. Hopefully we can resolve this matter before the year is out. So all those kinds of support we are giving to the farmers. In the cash crop sector, the other crop sector, what we have done, we are now helping farmers. We have increased our extension services, where agriculture officers now, they don't have to be in the office and wait for farmers to come to meet with them. They have to go out in the field, and every single week they have to submit a report and submit how many visits they have made and which area they went to and what kind of extension services they did. So this is accountability. We are talking about people become more accountable now, rather than people sitting down in their offices. As Minister of Agriculture, you know for a fact, I have been going across this country. Every single day I have been going out in the field to meet with farmers, listen to their concern. And I think we have made a tremendous impact in the agriculture sector. When I took over here, the main scheme, the main agriculture scheme, the Mahaika Maikonia Bari scheme, was in a dilapidated state. All the infrastructure was almost at a level where you can go into rice farming. What I have done, immediately when I took up this position, I went to Cabinet and I asked for money, and Cabinet released emergency funds. Over $92 million we started to work with and clear all the drainage canals in the MMA scheme. Right now, we are looking to procure some machinery to put in the scheme, and also to look at the other infrastructure like boxes and sluices and so to get them in shape. We have we did all the dams in the area, so farmers now there's a demand for land in this scheme, because a lot of farmers went out of production because of the state of affairs in the scheme and the policies of the last government. Seeing that we have put in these friendly policies now, where we are encouraging farmers to go back to agriculture, where we are working with them together to help them to get input into the agriculture sector, we are seeing this kind of demand that people are demanding now, that they want more land. So I'm working with lands and survey too in other parts of the country to see how we can get more lands for the people. The Attorney General and I have been working very closely to resolve the legal issues that are existing in the agriculture sector. Places like Blackbush Polder, places like the 5274 in the Essequibo Coast, those areas you have a serious legal issues with farmers getting serious problems. So we are now working together to resolve those issues. Very shortly, we'll be going back to an area called the Lutas Valley on the quarantine to deal with some legal issue there. Yesterday, I have inaugurated the new board of the MMA, and that board will work assiduously to get things in place there for the new rice crop, to ensure farmers get their land. Farmers know which land they are cultivating and things like that. So there was a whole serious problem in terms of land distribution in the MMA scheme. So I am working, and the board have been working. I have mandated the board yesterday to work and get all these matters resolved. I have also advised the board that they must form a conflict resolution committee so that we can deal with one matter right there at the MMA rather than the matter have to go in the court and spend years before they can get resolution. So, Critic, I think that agriculture, we have a bright future for this sector here, and I think a number of personnel we have seen this renewed interest. I would like to touch a little bit on the sugar. You know for a fact that we are now working hard to reopen these closed sugar estates. Now, in leading up to the election and when we were in opposition, the General Secretary would have said, and the entire party and the presidential candidate at that time too, we said if we go back into government, we will reopen the sugar estate. The government at that time and many critics at that time said that we were making election promises, that we can, and there is no possibility of opening these estates. So as Minister of Agriculture, I am extremely happy to say that we are reopening 3 of the 4 closed sugar estates: Rosal, Skeldon, and Enmore. As it stands today, we have already employed more than 700 workers in these estates. And now these are only preparatory work are being done in terms of getting the cultivation back to normal, looking at the factories, and other supporting agencies to the factories. So we are working around the clock. I know for a fact by next year we'll employ more workers. More workers will come on board. The government has given $3 billion a subvention in the first instance to Gaisuko. That money is on the verge of expending there. Gaisuko started work immediately. We have set up a new board of directors, and I think that the board of directors is working assiduously to get Gaisuko back on track. The existing estate, the former government neglected the 3 main estates that are working presently because they did not expend it critical capital works. What we are doing now, we have set aside funds to do critical capital work, set up things like the boiler, ensure that these systems are in place so that when the new crops commence next year, that we will not have all these mechanical breakdown, downtime in these factories. So I think as it stands now, we are moving very swiftly in the agriculture sector, in all the sector, the other crops, the rice sector. This year we have had record-breaking production. Over 1,075,000 metric tons of rice we have produced. Our production have increased, and our market also, in terms of export, have increased. We have been exporting more to Brazil, to North America, and different parts of Europe. I am very optimistic that coming the next new year, we'll have new market for our rice. The Panamanians said that when they told us that when they settle the debt with Guyana, they want to continue with the rice deal that we had with them. So all these markets will be coming on stream, and I think our production level will increase tremendously. And I am also heartened to see that there are a number of private investors, not only locally but internationally. We have seen a set of private investors came from Dubai recently. His Highness there. I did some presentation from the agriculture sector, especially rice, poultry, goat, those things they are interested in. My colleagues did other presentation, and they will be investing in our country. As a matter of fact, only this morning I talked to an investor who wants to go visit various parts of the sugar industry. So I think that the future of the agriculture sector look very bright. We are working to develop a strategy for the agriculture sector for 2021 to 2025. In that, we will be expanding the second phase of the MMA scheme, where we want to increase rice production by 100% in the next 4 years. So by the time 2024, 2025, we can increase rice production from 1 million tons to 2 million tons. So these are the things we are working on, and we will ensure that we continue to support the farmers. We will ensure that we continue to give critical support to the rice farmer and the cash crop farmer and the entire agriculture sector.
That was quite a mouthful, Minister. All that being said, basically government is putting a lot into agriculture, and the wheels of fortune for the agriculture ministry, the agriculture sector has already started rolling, and farmers are going to benefit, investors are going to benefit. Now we got a few people getting jobs from the estates,
Right.
and you know, drainage and so is going to benefit when the estates is up and running. Now, with rice production going to be double its capacity by 2025, as you said,
Right.
will Guyanese be able to go to the market? Because my real interest is the multitudes. As much as farmers could be counted in hundreds. If you check the MMA, there's hundreds of farmers. But thousands of Guyanese depend on these produce. What mechanisms are going to be put in place to ensure that Guyanese by 2025 could really and truly afford? So although in certain sectors you might be able to put money in the citizens' pocket, just hand them money. But if produce are affordable, rice is cheap, life would be easier to live in this country. What kind of mechanisms could be put in place to
So,
ensure
as I told you
the
just
poor
now,
man gets?
although, and you said it, we haven't given any cash or any money to farmers, but farmers now they are getting more monies in their pocket because the policies that we have implemented, for example, with the reversal of DNI charges and land rental, farmers are saving those money. With the where we abolish these VAT and agriculture input and machinery, they are paying less for these things. So farmers will have more money in their pocket. Now the policies that we are having, for example, you mentioned it, the investment we are making in terms of, you talk about a sector, the rice sector. We are there to play the facilitating role. For example, this year, before the end of this year, we will set down 9 new pumps so that we will have better drainage and irrigation. So the cost for farmers to go get drainage and irrigation, the government will take in that slack. You understand? So the cost of them will be coming down. So as long as the cost of production comes down, then the cost of buying a produce will come down. And Guyanese will enjoy better prices for these produce. But the point is that also we can able to produce more when the cost of production is down, because more people will go into farming, go into the agriculture sector, and when we produce more, we can export more, and we will bring in more foreign exchange into the country. For example, in the sugar industry, we can't continue to produce brown sugar, raw brown sugar, and feel that we can survive. We have to diversify. We have to start now, think about when we settle with that guy Suko, get back the estates them operational. We have to look at value-added products, things like refined sugar, things like ethanol, you understand? Things like high-grade molasses. Those are the things that have money, rather than to export brown sugar alone. In the Caribbean, we have it has the potential where we could export over 200,000 tons annually refined sugar right in the Caribbean. So there are markets. There are markets. It's all we have to strategize, and we have to work to ensure that we achieve these objectives. And I think we can do it. And it has started already. And it's a matter of policies, what you want as a government. We as a government, we know our priorities. We're working with a manifesto. That manifesto is a contract between us and the people of our country. And I think even the first budget, the first emergency budget, we have already addressed 12 of the 35 commitments in the agriculture sector that we have made in our manifesto. Imagine in 3 months. In 3 months, we have already addressed 12 of those commitments we have made in the manifesto in the agriculture sector.
1/3 of it. You said 36.
Right. So imagine in the next 5 years what will happen. Right? So the policies of the government, and I think that you know for a fact that we have been working in all the sectors, and in my sector, the agriculture sector, I think that the farmers, we have been working with them, and we have worked with every single person. We have been giving that kind of support. The same resources the former government had, the same machinery, the same kind of equipment, but they have not been utilizing it. They have not been going out to meet with the farmers. They have not been listening to the plights of the problems of the farmers. So that's the difference between us and them. We have been going out and we have been very responsive to the needs of the farmers, to the demand. When you go to the canal can't work, the sluice door get a problem. Those are things you have to, because government is there to play the facilitating role, invest in the infrastructural development so that farmers can have good infrastructure to produce and go into agriculture. And that we have been doing.
Minister, you are the head of a sector that has failed over the last 5 years. But there are a number of people still in place. So you are implementing policies, but there are people in place, there will be shortcomings. They weren't shortcomings for the last 5 years. What is the ministry doing in terms of accountability to ensure that they weed out individuals or organizations that will hold back progress?
So what I have been doing, for example, I came at the Ministry of Agriculture. I didn't came here to witch hunt and dismiss people, as you rightly said, but we have to be accountable. And I have been having these follow-up, because when I make a decision and pass it down, I have been following up it on a regular basis. So officers within the Ministry of Agriculture, the same officers, as I said, the same equipment and the same resources the former government had, and now the same officers here. And they have been delivering. Because when I go out in the community, I normally take all these officers with me. And on the spot, if somebody have a drainage problem and use a DNI officer, you have to deal with it on the spot. If somebody have a crop problem, NARI has to deal with it there. And these are the things. Whenever I go, I will have to invite you on my outreach. All the officers within the ministry, even the permanent secretary now, she start to go out with me whenever I go. So that is a kind of responsive and proactiveness I have started in this ministry. And the same people are delivering.
It mightn't necessarily have been shortcomings with people, but policy and driving policy
and leadership. This ministry didn't have any leadership here. People were doing things what they thought was right. For example, if you think that this phone is the right phone, you will buy this phone. But when you look at it, it can't do the work. So you need guidance. You need guidance as an officer in the ministry. So now we normally meet, we discuss our plans, we look at issues and from a critical perspective, and then we decide how we will approach it. And I think I have been getting good results so far. People are coming now every Friday. I have my open day at the ministry here from 10, and a large amount of people normally comes here. Yesterday I went to MMA. I saw a number of persons there at the MMA there. So people are more, as I said, there is this new interest in this sector. Now people are coming forward, and you are not hearing the kind of everything island gas, island gas, island gas. People now are coming and they're going back, and there are big demand for agricultural land in this.
Like a breath of fresh air. Minister, I know you took time out from your busy schedule. I want to thank you and hope we could do this again and make Guyanese aware of what's going, what they're going to be getting, and where we're going to be in the future.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.